yes. Then they took that one step further. And the question now is reframed. If you took that substance and you knew that you would not get caught, and you knew that you would win every event that you entered for the next 5 years, but at the end of the 5 years, you may not be alive anymore, would you take it? More than 50% said yes. That means that people were in a state of just looking at the end results, the outcome, and how we looked at it, just looking at what the outside appearance of their body was, the strength, that aspect of it, and didn't care about what they were actually doing to their body, to their mental and their emotional state. So we had put it out and said, we're going to do something. We're going to change up the industry as best as we could. And at that time, as best as we could was really based on the body, the outward appearance of the body, because that's what we knew.
Well, I had thought that once people transform and turn into their own superhero and they love how they look, that it automatically brings confidence. And the process of doing it based on what I thought was proper nutrition, that it would also teach them how to be healthful. So for me, and because of all this, I thought they'd be happy. And so for me, it was like the entry point to a body, mind, heart, spirit, but I didn't realize that it had to coexist or it was backwards.
It was so backwards because how we looked at it, and I'm sure how most looked at it, the people that stepped on a stage or appeared in the magazine or on the TV shows, they look like superheroes. They look like the epitome of health and wellness until they spoke.
Well, that's
no, it's not true for everybody.
Yeah.
Not true for everybody, but on the majority aspect of it, those people who are standing on the stage and looking like those superheroes, those role models, were probably at the most unhealthy level in their life. Mentally, physically, nutritionally, functionally, emotionally, all that. We didn't know that at the time. At the time we started running the events, we had created an organization called the World Natural Sports Organization.
World Natural Sports Association at the beginning.
Association, right, and then changed to organization. And then we launched the Fame World Tour. And the Fame World Tour was a tour of events that took place all around the world. Were produced into television shows and magazines and seminars and workshops, all with the goal of, again, giving people an opportunity to make a transformation, to step up on a stage and showcase that and inspire others with their accomplishments, right? We didn't realize that we only stopped at the body part, that there was much, much more to that.
Yeah, and we only realized that by almost like a trial and error type thing. So we would put out a show or we'd put out a magazine or an article, and we'd see the response and we'd see the reaction of people. Like, for example, the number of faces that during the awards ceremony that were like frowns after the awards were announced because somebody didn't get the place and they want, even if it was second place, it was devastating to me. It was heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, because to me at that moment it showed, well, they're no longer proud of what they did for their body. Like, look at them, you know? And so that for me was, wait, there's more to this. It's more than just like body. That's not enough. They have to have the self-love embedded within.
Yep. When we ran the events, we both had different roles. So Mindy was more backstage and got to talk and engage with the athletes a lot more. I was on the front acting as the head judge, which meant officiating over the judges or oftentimes emceeing. And what was interesting is my entire role was to assess the bodies, but not just to assess the bodies of someone's own personal accomplishment. It was comparing the bodies.
Right.
So if there was 20 people on the stage, it was being able to shuffle people around, put people together who have the same type of frame or structure, and then be able to drill down through a series of different actions and poses, who's the best. And after the events, there would always be people who would come up and they'd want to know, well, how can I do better? Or why didn't I do good enough? Or whatever it is. Sometimes it was just a matter of, well, this person was just has spent 10 years in the gym or just had amazing genetics and they were able to accomplish that. But everyone placed this huge focus on just what the outward appearance of their body would be. What can they change in their diet? What can they change in their training? What can they change in their routine to be better? When it really, when we had our realization, it really was when you take the form of competition at its true form, well, that's like comparison. It's comparison against one person over another on their bodies.
On their body.
Right?
I believe.
So
we did that for years.
We did that for years, and without ever realizing it. And we were at an event. We were at an empowerment event. Remember? It was an event that Casey Compton was running.
Oh, yes.
And someone had come up to us and they said, you know what? They had competed in our shows. They had a great time. They had a blast. But for years and years, and the reason they were at that empowerment event was they had to retrain their mind, their emotional health, their mental health, and their physical health because of what they put themselves through to accomplish that, and also didn't quite get the placing. They didn't get the win that they wanted or that they aspired to. Well, what does that do to the mind?
And in addition to that, then there was the person who also let us know that she trained for the show. She had a trainer who was a pro athlete and was training her for the show. And she had dedicated herself, she had passion about it. She had her focus. She, she did things that she didn't want to do, that sacrifices is the word I'm looking for. Sacrifices of going out with friends and family and changing her nutrition and her sleeping and all of that. So everything, like, she shifted for this show. And right before the show, the trainer said, "You're not ready." And for her, that's like, she didn't even step on stage and think about what that does for her mental health. Thinking about, equating that to her body. I put my all into this and I'm not even good enough. According to us, of course, she could have competed, but her trainer or pro athlete said no.
Yeah. I see people are sending in hearts and likes and stuff like that. And if you have any questions, so one of the questions that we just came in, because we're on YouTube and Facebook and Rumble and Telegram, one of the questions that we had come in is, where is that question now? Do you see it? Okay, so you started off wanting to provide a platform for natural athletes. How has your perspective of a natural athlete changed?
Ooh, good question.
That's a good question.
Thank you, Anne.
So at the time, natural to me meant there's no steroids being used, no performance enhancing products. And that in itself is such a gray area, because what is sports performance enhancing? Is it a protein shake, or is it growth hormone? Is it, some kind of additional supplement that you can take, or is it some kind of steroid? But for us, we did drug testing, and that was for the use of steroids and things that were considered to be banned substances. A natural athlete, to me, when I think about it today, is someone who is embracing the body as a whole. That it's not just about the outward appearance, it's their mental and their emotional. It's being someone who can actually be that superhero, that superstar, and actually speak that and share that and inspire other people, and being able to look at training, not just training in the gym for that 1 hour, 2 hours a day or every other day, but training is everything you're doing in your life. People ask, well, how do I change my mindset? How do I get past the things that are stopping me? Well, that's training. Just like you're in the gym training a muscle, you've got to be able to train that. Wear something on your wrist that you can snap every time you have a thought that is not going in the direction you want, or snap when it is going in the direction that you want. So to reinforce that new way of thinking.
So when they snap because it's not going in a direction that they want, I'm thinking that it's a good idea to then instead change that and feel like you can put your hand to your heart and you can feel a love emotion. You can feel something. You can make the choice to put your attention to something that makes you feel good. Remember a loving moment that you've had for yourself, or a proud moment you've had for yourself, or a loving connection you had with somebody else.
Yeah, by just touching your heart, having that connection automatically brings your awareness to that area. And
mind to heart,
and just slow down. Do a brave heart breath. Do something that is going to allow you to pause and recognize what that thought was, and what you would like to change it to be. Now, it takes training. To be able to change that and catch yourself, you need to respond in something that is coming at you in less than 2 milliseconds. So it's very quick.
That's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast, but you need to want to change. You have to decide to decide. So,
it's not good enough to want it. You have to choose to do it. Decide to decide.
Yeah. So I hope that answered your question. Another question that we see is when did you realize you needed to make a shift? So I think for both of us, that was different. For me, the first realization that I had, we were running an event in Calgary. Remember? Mindy was at home because I think that weekend we had 3 events. I think we had Calgary, we had Indonesia somewhere, and we had somewhere else, 3 different time zones. And this event in Calgary was being filmed because Global TV, so a national television network in Canada, came out to record, and they asked me to do a quick interview. So I did this interview, and I'm standing in the lobby doing the interview, and they're asking me about natural bodybuilding, what it means to, train right, eat right, and just take a natural approach. And what was the funniest thing about that interview?
Well, I was watching it, so it wasn't funny to me. I was kind of horrified. Like, go ahead. So
I'm doing that interview, and behind me is the banner at a booth space
huge
of, I won't name the athlete, but at the time, he would have been considered the biggest bodybuilder in the world that attained that success, not in what we had considered at the time in a natural way. So here I am standing on national TV talking about natural bodybuilding and fitness with this person imagery behind me of something that was clearly not that. And once somebody told me that, it kind of was like, you know what, we need to change. That the companies, the sponsors, the people who were supporting the events at the time, and we were absolutely grateful for their support and helping to get that message out. However, the message was wrong. The message was all about something that goes back to the accountability and transparency and authenticity that we were talking about at the beginning of the show. It was about products that weren't designed with optimal health in mind, weren't designed to really make a shift in the way that you're going to be happy as far as body, mind, heart, spirit, right?
Well, yes, and I also think that sometimes with the information that was out there, people did believe that their products were fully helpful and really beneficial for the athletes to have and to use. However, there's other studies that show there's a different kind of natural without the chemicals, without the, all that kind of stuff.
Like the amount of supplements that the average fitness person puts in their body without paying attention to what's truly in it.
Yeah.
I saw a post, a little while back of somebody saying, they don't really care. They don't know what's in their Kentucky Fried Chicken. They don't know what's in Advil. They don't know what's in XYZ. Well, why not? If this is your temple and you're putting things in your body with the intention, at least that's why you bought it, of it helping to build your body. And if you're not paying attention to what is in it, well, what's the point? What if taking that product is actually spinning you in a backwards direction? So to me, that was my first aha was, you know what, there's all these products out there that are part of what we're doing.
They were our sponsors.
They were our sponsors, which meant by extension, we were giving the okay. We were giving the endorsement because someone saw it on a poster or at a show. They figured, well, we've approved that. And recognizing that, well, what's in those products? Is it truly what we want to be putting our name behind? And is the end result really something that we even believe in?
Yep.
You know, I remember products being marketed, you know, with 40, 50 grams of protein per serving. I mean, that's insane. It's beyond what the body should be having, along with all the artificial colors and flavors and all the other things that were part of it. The industry has changed. A lot have woken up, but that was my first aha. What was yours?
Well, I think for me, it was like a slow build because as I said, I just was floored when I saw so many people who I admired and looked up to and was so inspired by that their just whole attitude changed. If they didn't get the spot that they wanted, or if they thought that they should have done better, they were done. They either became really sad, they became angry, they became hostile, or they became just a different person in my mind. Yet they're the same people who I'd be seeing in the magazines and who everyone, or on social media, and who everyone's like looking up to. And that was really, really tough for me to see that whole process. And then eventually, we had a magazine and I was the executive editor of that magazine. And I was talking to our editor-in-chief, Andrea Ritter, who was amazing to work with. And I was explaining to her for an article, no, I wanted to say something about like, even though you're like a bodybuilder, you sculpted your physique so perfectly, you still have to be proud of your body. And then she came back with the word body proud. And for me, that was it. That was it. Yes, people need to be body proud. It's not about the end result of your body. It's about the actions that you're taking for yourself and your body. Because the proud part, for me, signifies mind. And so that's the mind to heart connection. And when that came on, that was my realization that absolutely something better could be done and we could help lead that.
Yeah, you know what, that notion of body proud really, to me, meant that it's the journey that's key and important. You're someone who said, okay, I'm going to set a goal for myself. And back then it was to the stage. Today it could be for you. You just set a goal for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time to get from where you are today to that goal. But if you visualize it and you set your mind to achieving that, the things that you do in your day-to-day routine will change. Maybe instead of taking the elevator, you'll take the stairs.
Hey, that's a good idea. I challenge you guys.
Yeah, there's one action step that you can do right now. You know, if you were going to take the elevator, take the stairs. If you're going to go shopping, don't look for the closest spot. Find one that's further so that you're getting an extra little walk in your day. But the point I was making about what you were just saying about the journey is so many people focus on just the end result. And when you focus on just the end result, then if anything along the way throws you off slightly, then there's a tendency to be down on yourself. But if you focus on the journey and it's what you've achieved through that journey, that's the experience that you had.
Well, can I add?
Yeah.
I think that part of the achievement is the action steps that you're taking. So if you do an action that you normally wouldn't do, but you did it to be good to you, then that's something to be proud of. And that's part of like the things to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the people who only look at the end results, it's almost as if you're going to go on vacation and you get all of yourself ready and you head out to the vacation and all you're excited is about getting back home. You've missed the experience of that journey.
Getting back home to tell all your friends what you did on vacation.
Yeah, you know, so it's the journey and the experience. So going back a little bit to what continuing on our background. So we started to run these events, and we started running them first across Canada, then expanded into the US, and then it took off and went all over the world. And the events grew so big because so many people wanted to have something to kind of give them that push to transform. It's not that our events were just designed for athletes and competitive bodybuilders, right? We had like every type of category that we could think of.
Yeah, well, when people said that they had an interest in competing and being on stage, again, at that time, we looked at it as a service we were providing because it was a goal and an incentive for them to actually focus on themselves and transform their body. So when somebody came to us and they needed something that they didn't fit into that category, we created one for them. Like an example would be the wheelchair division.
Yep. We had tons of categories, which made it quite challenging at award time because there were so many different awards.
We had short, medium, tall.
Yeah, we had all these different things. So it was providing people that opportunity, and we saw the growth go tremendous because people wanted a reason to get themselves moving. It's hard, or what we found, it was very hard for people just to be self-motivated. It requires a certain mindset to say, I'm going to make a change and I'm going to stick with it. An expression that I've said over the years is most people change long enough to get the results they want, and then they go right back to what they were doing before. If you can't change the habit and that routine and that unconscious way that you're just living your life, then you go back into that. You have to truly want to change. And what we found is when we gave people that opportunity to say, okay, it's time to make a transformation. And Mindy used to walk up to people that, just anyone and said, hey, you should compete. And they would go, what? I compete? Yeah, go to the gym, get yourself into shape, transform yourself, step up on a stage. But that was the process that they'd have to go through.
Yeah.
It was to give them the ability to have a goal to accomplish something. So the success of the events really took off. And I remember people would come back year after year if we returned to that same city, that same town, and they would get on stage and they would share with us that this is what keeps them in shape. This is what is moving them forward, because if they didn't have that, if they didn't use that as a goal, they may not have been motivated to go work out. They may not have been motivated to not eat that cheesecake or whatever it was that they were eating, or whatever they had to change.
They saved the cheesecake for after they competed, when it was probably the worst time to put it into themselves, after they were nutritionally deficient and depleted. Yeah,
so what Mindy's referring to there, or for anyone who's asking, the athletes would go on such strict diets because they would put their bodies through these extreme measures, which do not need to be done. But that was what everyone knew. Just because everyone was doing it doesn't mean it's right. Just because that's what the industry was saying to do didn't make it right, but that's what everyone followed. And people would go through some crazy dieting and manipulate their water, their sodium level, their potassium level. And they'd be at a state when they arrived at an event where, we'd say they had this brain fog, they had the stupids because they didn't know how to interact.
It's true. There were some funny stories with that.
There's so many funny stories. But after the event, all they would be focused on was, I'm going to have that cheesecake. Or I'm going to eat I'm going to eat every type of junk food that they didn't have for the 12 or 16 weeks or 20 weeks or whatever it was that they were using to prepare. That was crazy. But at that time, that was the mindset, right? The mindset was eat clean for 6 days of the week and have a junk day.
We participated in that too.
We did.
It was yummy, but we came to learn.
We came to learn because all week you would feel great on the food you're eating, then have a day of eating just things that aren't great, and then it takes another few days to get back on track with it. And that's so far away from health.
Right.
Even Ryan, I see you're asking a question that you used to do some crazy workouts, and I'm sure you may have damaged your joints. You may have, I I can't say whether we did or not. And it's a matter, though, of the amount of stress that was placed on the body at that time. And what was done for recovery? Was recovery just taking a day off in between workouts? Or what most people did in the gym was, okay, day one is going to be chest, day two is going to be legs, day three is going to be this. It was a rest day from that body part before it got repeated again. And many times it wasn't just a complete rest for the body, or giving your body the things that it needs in order to stay healthy.
Yeah, and if you're curious about any injuries you might have incurred during that time period, you can always book a perfect day health consultation with one of the practitioners here.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to remove something in a matter of minutes or after one single treatment, when most people are dealing with chronic pain all their life. And so many of that comes from your, I see you're writing, the amount of food you ate was insane, the amount of workouts you were doing insane, and you didn't really have time for recovery. Yeah. Well, when is now the time to do that? You know, the more that we are understanding how easily and quickly the body can be healed when done in the proper way, the more I see that people really need to pay attention to it, because there's no reason to be living in pain. There's no reason to be living in discomfort.
The only reason is you're not aware that there's an alternative that works.
Yeah.
We've seen it now with our own eyes. We've been here for a while.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, and like the stories, like, you know, people just saying hi to us and like they're telling us miraculous things. I didn't even notice I got up without my cane. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, so that there's amazingness on that. So back to our end. So we were seeing that there was so much interest in people wanting to attend these events, from bodybuilding to fitness model to figure to swimsuit model to obstacle course to all these different things, that we decided to flip it around because there wasn't enough room at the theaters to accommodate the number of people who wanted to participate or the number of people who wanted to come watch. So we turned it into an expo, and we created an expo called FAME, which stood for Fitness and Model Expo. And that's where we really debuted what the fitness model search was all about.
It was a really big show. We had athletes from all over the world join in.
Yeah, I think the largest event had over 1,000 athletes competing over the weekend. 1,000 athletes. So you can imagine the number of people who came out, which was amazing. But at the time, there was this other sense of the other side of the amazing. And what I mean by that is,
Tell us, Justin.
you have 1,000 people come out, you can't have 1,000 winners.
Sure.
Right? And you have people that are being judged on stage, on television, in front of magazines and photographers and huge audiences on their body, on what they accomplish with their body. Now, some who took to this because it was a sport and they were doing this as a career, they sculpted their bodies. They looked at their body and said, well, I need to build more muscle here. I need to put something on here. And they catered their workouts and their training strategy for that. Majority of the people were people who wanted to transform, who wanted to step up on a stage and showcase the transformation. But in their minds, they also believe that they're going to win, or they're going to, make it in the top 3 and walk away with a trophy, or their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their trainer said they would do that. If they didn't, though, of the 1,000 people, how many people left maybe a little bit not on that same upward trajectory as they had walking into the event? And that's where we started to see that, something really needs to change. But we were in momentum. We were building sort of this fitness empire for the purpose of shifting the industry away from drug abuse and giving people the awareness that at any stage in their life, at any level, because we had people competing in their early teens. I think the oldest person we had competing was in their mid-80s.
Jeannie Haywood.
who would do flips on this, like incredible things that people can do when you put your mind to it. You know, someone who's 80 years old doing a bodybuilding routine and posing on stage, or doing a fitness routine which required gymnastics and people, you know, doing these cartwheels and stuff like that.
Triple flips.
Triple flips. So our goal was at that point was, let's spread the message as wide as we could. One of our slogans was train hard, train natural. It was at that stage getting people out of the mindset that they needed some kind of performance enhancing product, i.e. steroids and growth hormones that were so harmful for the body and the mind, and do it in a way that was natural, was not with using those products. So that was our focus. And the tour of events grew and grew. So the expo that we did, they were destination events. It's where the industry came. The largest, we had over 400 exhibitors and conferences on personal training and dance and gymnastics and martial arts and cheerleading, all these different things to give people the awareness that they can do something better for their body at any stage, right?
Yeah.
So those events grew and captured the attention of media. So we started producing television shows. In Canada, we worked with TSN and RDS and WTSN, Women's TSN, which was, I don't know, that's still
short-lived. No, I don't think it is.
And the shows that we did actually were TSN's, some of their best shows. It was
the top-rated show.
It was a top-rated show. They called it the #1 non-sporting, non-live sporting event shows.
And it was awesome. We would go out at night to restaurants or bars or whatever. No, we actually were not really bar people, but we went out to restaurants at that time. But playing above the bar was our show. Yeah. We had no idea, and it just came on, so it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm seeing someone's asking if you'd like to see a demo or more information about the workouts of the program that we're doing together with Dr. Daryl Wolf. Yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll give you more information on this show and some of the other shows. There is a full program that you can participate, so that if you are a personal trainer or a therapist or in the industry, that you can learn the additional skills, you know, both on the mental and emotional and spiritual level, but how to actually heal with your hands.
Be a therapist as well.
Be a therapist beyond just here, do this, do these workouts. If someone is doing a workout and they feel like something's not feeling right in their body, we'll help them.
On the spot.
Right there. Don't allow it to create scar tissue and the avoidance of working out and all the other things that go along with that you can actually learn how to do that better. So back to our story.
Still going.
Still going. So we were producing the television shows, and now we had launched a magazine. So we had magazines that were distributed around the world, shows around the world, workshops, all with the goal of helping people be able to step into their superhero, you know, step into what they can achieve with their body. And it was when we got to a certain growth level and we started to look in and realize that there's got to be more to this. It's got to be more than just about the body. There's something missing. And that's when, you know, when Minnie was talking before about the body proud mantra, the body proud concept, that's when it came into being.
Yeah, and then even that got picked up on Good Morning America.
Yeah, that became very, very popular. So how did the body proud concept actually even launch? Well, we had this event that was taking place. If anyone's watching this and was at that event or knows someone who was at that event, we had an event that was called the North American Championships, that was in Miami, Florida. And what we did is, before the day of competition, we asked all the athletes who would want to participate to step up on stage.
Except we didn't do that.
What did we do?
It was mandatory.
It was mandatory. So the athletes had to step up on stage and share their body proud story. Now at the time, nobody knew what that really even meant. You know, we were still figuring that out or just putting it out there to see. And what was incredible is that we had athletes who stepped up on stage, and it was the first time that I think they actually paused long enough to recognize what it is that they accomplished.
And reflect on, yeah.
And reflect on. So you had, 220 pound, 230 pound bodybuilders on stage.
Were they that big?
I remember.
Natural. Remember that was like the heavyweight division.
I remember I can't remember the names of who I'm
at that
in my head.
Okay.
Who stepped on stage. This was in a heavyweight division, yeah. He was probably 6 foot or whatever, but I can't remember his name. And he stepped on stage,
I know what you're talking about.
And he was in tears as he was starting to recount the story of how he was bullied as a kid, and how bodybuilding and fitness saved his life and his journey. And it was the first time that he realized that. And then successively, story after story, was like, it was so emotional.
Everyone was breaking down.
Yeah, people were crying, people were in tears, and everyone sort of connected and bonded in a different way.
It was like loving.
Yeah.
It was now they're friends.
And Body Proud had its own handshake. So it was the coming together.
Can you see the heart? See the heart? There's the heart, and then you
spreading that out into the world. And anytime someone would come to our shows, that was the first thing that they would do when they came on stage. We did a big introduction, and all the athletes would come on and do that Body Proud, either to themselves.
For all of you, you can actually do it for yourself. You make your own heart and spread it out to the world. It's coming up from you.
And that spread all around the world, which at the time was amazing. It meant people were putting in an awareness that we were more than just the body, mind, heart, spirit. And although people liked the notion of that, I don't think the industry was yet ready to embrace it.
Yeah, it was hard to say words like spirituality and self-love back then.
Yeah, I think most athletes know this, that there is this force that's greater than your body that's there. Whether you were a bodybuilder on stage, doing something, or whether you're an athlete in any other field, there's this powerful force and connection. But at that time, going back 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, I don't think people were ready to embrace that. Like when you said, to say spirituality, at the time I wasn't.
I know. It took me a few years to get on in there.
Yeah, but we were putting out this message, and it was something that we thought was really important. The amount of drug use in the gyms was tremendous, and we felt that we were really cleaning things up. But something was missing, and we had made a decision at a certain point that it was time to put a pause on what we were doing with the competitions, and let's see what we can change. We empowered millions of people around the world to make change, to step into their power,
It was us and the people who made the change who helped inspire more people to make change. So it's a collective thing.
Absolutely. But we recognize that those that look like a superhero get the attention of other people to pay attention to what they're saying. And that superhero looking person, if they say, hey, you need to focus on your mindset, people will pay attention to that. But we weren't ready yet. The industry wasn't ready yet. We said, okay, let's pause. Let's first work on ourselves. You can't change a way of thinking from the same level of thinking that you're currently at. It just doesn't work, right? You don't know what you don't know. So we had to learn that.
Yeah, it was a whole shift in personalities that we acquired through the process.
Yeah, we decided that we're going to connect with mentors and teachers and coaches and trainers and everything from mindfulness and NLP to nutrition to the physical side.
We became metaphysical ministers.
We became metaphysical ministers. So we said, okay, we need to take this journey. We need to see the things that we weren't seeing, that we can help to reshape the fitness industry, to reshape the wellness industry, to be able to infuse it with the right message, that it's not just about the body, and it's not just about a quick fix, and it's not about dealing with a chronic pain and going week after week after week, year after year, decade after decade to that same therapist or different therapist to try to deal with something that can easily be fixed. But the first step is to recognize that there is something that you can do, and then be able to find the right tools, the right resources, the right innovations to be able to do that.
Or the right action steps.
The right action steps.
Which is issued on the show, so.
Yeah, and that's why we're here.
In the network, throughout the Doc of Detox network, there will be action steps issued that you can take so that you can further yourself and get to love yourself more, love how you think, feel, act, look, dream, all of it.
Yeah, we came down here to work with Dr. Darrell Wolf and all the team that he has, all the practitioners, the therapists that are here, and those who are hosting different shows, so that collectively, as a voice, we can impact change. That's key. And I think it's the coming together. I think people need somewhere that they can go to that's going to help guide them along. And that's what we're hoping that we can provide as a collective unit here. So we paused, we spent the time to learn more about ourselves, learn the things that are important. And you know, that biggest message, and we'll say it again, and we say it all the time, because
what is it?
You need to hear it again and again and again and again and again. It is that being fit goes way beyond just strength and appearance. It's about mental and emotional and social and spiritual and functional health.
It's about taking action for all those parts of you.
Yeah, and the functional health is key. It's, you know, being able to get into proper posture. It's about being able to have the flexibility that you can go for a run and you can still touch your toes. It's about being able to exercise, but exercise all parts of you. It's not about just, I'm going to go work out in the gym for an hour and forget about the mental and the emotional part. Those are muscles too that need to be worked. So that's what we've spent now close to a decade.
I think it's more than that now, actually.
It might be more than that. You know, vetting people and products and different wisdom that people have to share, to be able to deliver that to you, to package that up in courses and retreats and events and different things that you can get engaged with that can move you forward. Because they're really, now that we know, now that we have the awareness and things that we've seen firsthand, you know, while being down here at Ixtapa, it's having that awareness that now it's to open everybody else's mind that there is a possibility and an ability easily to feel good, to not have to deal with discomfort or dis-ease, because it starts in the mind. And if you can address that, so many amazing things can happen. So let me look in and see if there's any other questions. Do you still run those kinds of events? Good question. No, we don't do that kind of thing.
That kind.
That kind. You know, the events that were about competition and comparison and having people manipulate their diet and their physique in ways that may not always be healthy. That's something that we've left behind. What we now do is provide people an opportunity to share their story, to step up on a stage or a platform, or to come onto this very show and share what your story is, what your ahas are, what
that
your
means you have to take action so you have them.
Yeah, that means you have to take action. You have to take that first step. You know, there's a saying called that in a Japanese philosophy called Kaizen, which is all about small incremental steps. You know, if you're going to transform your body and you've been in that body for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and you say, well, I want to change it. It doesn't happen overnight. Some of the discomfort can change overnight. But the change process that you need to go along, it's a journey. You need to retrain the way you're thinking, the way that you're experiencing life. You need to rethink everything from, you know, what you're doing with your time, what you're doing with the time that you would normally go to the gym, or what you're doing in the gym.
And also what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those, because that's hugely important. If you can catch yourself having a thought that doesn't make you feel good, why are you buying into it? Why not think of something else? mind to heart.
Yeah, Ryan, I see you said life would be a bit more simple if we weren't also having to deal with our emotions. Even Ryan, reframe that. You don't have to deal with your emotions, and you're not your emotion. So many people label themselves to their emotion. I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated. You're experiencing that emotion.
It's a temporary thing that flows through.
You are not that emotion.
But if you allow it to flow through, it almost gives you a self-healing because you're able to process it. And from that, at the end of that sad emotion, you come out feeling better because you've had a new realization or you've had a new thought. And the emotion is a beneficial tool for self-growth.
Yeah.
If you choose to use it that way.
If you choose to use it that way. But what I would say, Ryan, if you feel like you're dealing with those emotions on a regular basis, when that emotion comes up, pause.
What do you do during that pause, Jeff?
Breathe. Do the Braveheart breath. Put your hand on your heart, put your hand on your stomach, breathe through your stomach. So you're seeing your stomach expand. Breathe into the count of 6 and then pause for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, maybe up to 6 seconds. And then breathe out again through your mouth longer than you breathed in. So
I think he has specific numbers for it. So
6 and 7. So breathe into the count of 6 and breathe out to the count of 7. But take that pause. And while you're breathing and while you're in that pause, don't look at yourself as you are that emotion. Separate yourself from that.
And if you can, because your hand's on your heart, try and actually bring up that feeling of love. However you need to. Picture a movie, picture a time period that you remember feeling that way, but get into that state of love because it helps. It really does. It changes your energy, and energy is everything.
People typically focus on what they see. So, even in people who work out in the gym, most people focus, on their biceps and their chest. And oftentimes people don't train their legs properly because they're wearing pants, or they don't focus on their back because they don't see that. It's a matter of putting attention to the things that you need to put attention to. So the emotion is just as powerful as what you're seeing on your physical body. You may not see the emotion, but it doesn't mean that you can't or shouldn't put as much attention and focus to training it so that you do feel better, just like you would train a muscle in the gym.
It's like if somebody says they had a really good cry, well, there was a reason for the cry, but at the end of the cry, they're feeling better just for getting it out and releasing it. And sometimes that's like a way to get out of that emotion by allowing yourself to experience it.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
So this is a show that we do every week. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and Telegram. And it's a show for you. It's a show that...
And you.
all of you, where it's about inspiration and information and insight that can help you on your journey of transformation, of self-growth and self-love. So it's your participation that helps to fuel this, right? So share, engage. We're here to be able to hear what you have to say. I'm going to look down and see if there's any other thing.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that we're doing on this shift is we're really hoping that people start to tune into their talent, to, remember to do what they used to enjoy, to pursue their passion and to cultivate their creativity, because in all of those things just help elevate your energy and help put you in a state of love and self-love. So on that,
well, we're going to have an action step for you to do today. On every one of the shows, on every show, we're going to have different experts and athletes and models and innovators come on and share their story, what they truly discovered that helped them and can help you truly be fit, and issue an action step of something simple that you can do to allow yourself to move forward on that transformation. So I'm just going to check.
You did it yourself. Oh, you want to check first? Go ahead.
I was going to check to see if there was any other questions yet. No, sorry, what were you saying?
As an example, you had a passion project. What did you do?
Yeah.
And how did it shift you? Once you got into it, what did you notice different?
So thank you. So my passion project, and let's make that maybe the action step for today.
Okay.
So my passion project has always been in writing.
Mhm.
So I started writing a comedy book when I was in my teens. I had read the book series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I really, really enjoyed that.
And he told me this when we were first dating. So
Yeah.
this was a definite passion of his back then.
Yeah, it has been. And when that series ended, I decided to continue that journey, and I started writing my own book called The Ridiculous Adventures of Servanet. And I went back to that book throughout my life whenever I needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, when I wanted to either write something funny or read something that I already wrote just to make me laugh out loud or have fun with it.
You read it yourself?
I read it to myself and laughed.
That's
I still
awesome.
do.
I know, it's true. We laugh at that together.
So during 2020, when we had to pause what we were doing, we weren't able to go forward with running the events and the different things that we were going to do.
Yeah.
Mindy actually challenged me.
No, I give you a call to action. Take this action step.
Mindy gave me and that was to complete something that I was passionate about and like complete it to the end. Not just, okay, I'll finish another chapter or something. Do it till its end. And I did. With Mindy's help, got that book finished. Actually published it in December of that year. What was interesting is that now it had the wisdom in it that I attained over our lifetime of being in the fitness. And you attained of being in the fitness and the wellness space. The messages, the wisdom we learned, the lived experiences that we had, and we were able to take those messages and embed them into the book so that the book, along with being a fun story and a laugh out loud, adventure, it's filled with messages of self-growth and self-love and empowerment. So my challenge is for you to pick up that book, listen to it, read it, and if you have, or when you have, a laugh out loud moment, or an aha, or a new way of thinking of things, let us know. On social media, use the hashtag laugh out loud or the hashtag ReThink Fit, and mention me or Mindy. My handle on most social media is Jeffrey Kippel, so at Jeffrey Kippel, and Mindy's is at Hey Mindheart.
By the way, did you notice that? Mind, heart? And that's not, it is because putting your mind to your heart and your heart to your dreams matters, but it's also because that's my name all scrambled up, Mindy Heather. Isn't that cool?
It is cool. When you first told me it was cool.
I know, it's still cool in my head over here.
So you have an aha, a laugh out loud moment, or this show or this segment of the show inspired you to go back and pursue a passion project of your own, let us know.
That's the second action step. Pursue your passion and let us know. Let us know the steps that you're taking to get there and to achieve and to finish like the project that you're working on.
Yeah, to completion. To completion meant that I finished the book. It got edited, it got formatted, it got published, it got made into an audiobook.
Which is really awesome, I think.
Yeah, you could find it on Audible. You can find
one narrator, a bunch of voices, all different. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
Alan Irving, yay.
So you can find it on Amazon or Kindle or Audible. But if this inspired you to go out and pursue a passion, when you pursue that passion, complete it. If it's to draw, well, then get all the things that you need to be able to do that and finish the painting.
But document it all along the way. So if like it's day one, maybe to help you stay motivated is by taking a picture of it or sharing a story of it and actually tagging us and putting it out there so people, not just us, but other people can follow your journey. And then if you actually complete the passion project, then you have the opportunity to win a spot right here on the show or to take a course or the next book in the series or something. So by you doing a good action for yourself, you can actually win prizes and become in a state of love, which is what you have to be in order to truly be happy, helpful, confident, and feel fulfilled.
And there is so much pride and a feeling of accomplishment when you do finish something.
Jeff, is that how you felt?
It is. You know,
Tell us,
when
how
you
did you
say,
feel?
I felt great. It was knowing that I started something and I completed it, and that what I completed is actually having an impact on other people around the world, that it is inspiring other people, that it is giving people an opportunity to laugh and just, you know, have that moment to pause in their day and do something that will make them feel good. You know, in fact, laughing has so many benefits.
Yeah.
From all the chemicals and feel-good chemicals that are released in the body to massaging your internal organs as you actually have them. Think to the last time that you had a laugh out loud moment where you had tears coming down and you were just rolling around laughing. It does a lot of great for the body.
Rolling around laughing? When was the last time you rolled around laughing?
Well, maybe not always rolling around laughing. I was thinking of sitting and watching a movie and being on the floor and just really laughing. But yeah, maybe not roll around laughing, but when you have that moment,
a good chuckle.
You know, when in that moment that you've been able to pause, everything else in your life, anything else that's going on around you, is just put on hold for a moment, and you could just be in the moment and just be enjoy. Yeah. But let me see if there's any other questions as we get close to wrapping up today.
While Jeff's looking for a question, I'll just add one thing, that even a smile, that can make you feel better, even if it's forced. Like, try it right now. Wherever you are, just try it right now. Put on a smile and let us know if it makes you feel better, because I can pretty much guarantee you that it will. Just put on that smile. Are you smiling?
I see Guyen is asking something about training in fitness and training twice a day and doing one body part once in every 10 days. You know, there are so many different strategies on how to train the body. It's a matter of what your specific goals are, your body type, what you are eating, what you're putting into your body, and most importantly is where you're starting from the mindset. You know, what are you thinking about when you're working out? What are the images that you're having in your head? What is the visualization of your end goal? So it's more than just, hey, I'm going to work out one body part a day or one body part every 10 days. Every body is different. That means everybody needs to train in different ways. Well, you train every 2 days, not twice a day. Okay, I got it. Same thing. It depends really on what are your specific goals, what are you accomplishing, what are you putting into your body in all fashions.
Next week, we're actually having Ian Walling on. He was a top-level personal trainer. He was a world champion bodybuilder. So questions like this, he can probably give you more specific advice, because this was what his actual career and passion is built around.
Yeah, definitely. Next week we have Ian Walling. The following week we have Ocean Bloom. Both were world-renowned athletes. Both were trainers, and both had the awareness and that aha moment where they shifted the way that they're helping their clients, not just in the physical aspect, but from the mindset as well. So yeah, come back onto the show next week and the following week and ask them specifically, because they'll be able to give you a different level of advice because of the number of people that they specifically have worked on and helped through their careers. So I think that's going to bring us to the end of today's show. As a reminder, we are live every week on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Telegram. This is your opportunity to ask your questions, to get some advice, to share your ahas, share your stories, share your breakthroughs. Thank you so much, Guyen. She said, I love all the human psychology you're about. I love it. Awesome. That is where the fitness world needs to go. That's where we hope to make a difference. The fitness industry is broken. It's broken to a certain degree, and it can be fixed. It just requires a shift in mindset, a rethinking the way people are looking at things.
And taking action.
Know that you don't need to be in pain. You don't need to be in discomfort. In the physical, or the mental side. There is all of us follow the rest of the group here on this channel.
Everyone's interested.
Tap into some of the other shows. There's amazing information that you can hear from your home. That you want to come down here to Ixtapa, Mexico, and experience things on a whole other level. Take some of the whole life coaching, the non-surgical, surgical, have a healing session on your own, or come down here, share your story, and be a guest sitting here with us. Well, somehow with us on. We'll make another face on this show, because it's your stories that I think we want to hear, and the people who are watching the show want to hear too. Because anyone could make a change in their life. The first step is deciding to decide to do it.
What's the second step?
Remembering to remember. I don't have another example. Take action. That simple slogan that Nike has, just do it. It's not about, I need to wait till I get better shoes or my gym membership or a different set of clothes or whatever. It's saying today, I'm going to take an action that's going to move me forward. So I'm Jeff.
I'm Minty.
And this was the ReThink Fit Show, the DACA Detox Network. And we're happy to have you come onto the show, ask your questions, and engage with us.
And please share your transformation, your milestones, your breakthroughs, your ahas, and anything that any of the experts inspired you to do that you ended up having notable gains. We want to know your story. Please share that with us and with the experts.
Yep. And next week we'll have even more information on the ReThink Fit certification and the upcoming retreat that we have. Stay tuned, everyone. If you want to find out a little bit more about ReThink Fit, visit rethinkfit.social.
Oh, where can they get your book?
You can get my book, The Ridiculous Adventures of Servanan. It's on Amazon, it's on Kindle Unlimited. And if you want to hear it in a really fun way, check it out on Audible, The Ridiculous Adventures of Servanan. And when you do, take that action step, share what made you laugh out loud, what aha you had. And if this show inspired you in some way to rekindle a passion or start a passion that you've always wanted to do, let us know about it. That would be awesome. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.